Do you know that you can actually lose your life by just eating? And I'm going to explain. There's this man, a 40-year-old pastor, went out in the mountains. He stayed there for about 3 months. He wasn't eating anything. He was only on purely water. You know how fasts go. When he came back, his wife served him this food. Very nice burger, very juicy. And a day later, when he was sleeping, he was just found in bed unresponsive. Unfortunately, this man had passed away. Now imagine this. This man had survived this long period of hunger and then came back just after being fed by the wife. A day later, this man dies. The first thing in our setting in Africa is that this one was poisoned. So let's actually see this in medical terms if he was actually poisoned. In medicine, this whole scenario of feeding a person who's been starving for a long period of time, you feed them and then they start having certain complications, is called refeeding syndrome. Now, to understand this, we are going to link this to one single hormone, and that is insulin. Insulin has one job. It gets sugar from your blood vessels and takes it to the cells for that nourishment. Now, when you are in a state of starvation, you are fasting, your body adapts to the state where you are in that moment, meaning a state where you are giving it less. The body is very smart. So it will be living on that small food intake for quite some time, and it will give you zero issues at all. And then you adapt to it, meaning you'll start losing weight, meaning some of your proteins, some of your fat is going to be broken down to form the sugar which you're not taking in. Very smart mechanism. Now this is what happens to this man when he went home. When he was given this burger, which contains a high amount of calories, a high amount of carbohydrates, what picked up this message was insulin. You gave this body, which was used to having less, and then you gave it so much calories. What the insulin did, in fact, what the pancreas did, which produces the insulin, is that it produced it in very high amounts. Now, when that insulin came in the system, it got literally everything. It got all the sugar to move it outside into the cells. Insulin does not only move your sugar, but it moves your electrolytes. These electrolytes are these micronutrients, the small ones that we never usually even talk about, but they're very important. And some of these micronutrients are potassium, magnesium, and phosphate. Now, these micronutrients help your heart beat. These nutrients are helping you to produce energy. So the moment that this man ate this very good meal, everything shifted from his system to the cells, and then you are left with nothing in the blood. Now, when there's nothing in the blood, it means that there's nothing going to the heart specifically, so meaning your heart has no energy to beat. These electrolytes, when some of them are low, they cause your heart to stop beating. Your muscles become weak, and that's what usually happens, and this is exactly what happens to this man. Now, what should you do in a case where you've stayed for a long period of fasting, a long period, where it's evident that you're even starting to lose weight? You need to start feeds small, very small, meaning a small calorie intake as low as 5 kilocalories per day. So small as you build towards the rest of them. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in a similar situation. This is exactly the reason why when a child is malnourished and they come to the hospital, we start them on F75. Small amount of calories to give them for a particular period of time so that they do not go into this refeeding syndrome. I got compelled to talk about this topic because I saw a similar story on social media where this woman was abandoned by the family for quite some time, and one of the social media pages got her and then took her for assistance at one of the hospitals in Lusaka. Now, this woman died shortly after she was found, and then, they did whatever they did. They discharged her, and then at home a few days later, she died. My instinct is that what she was given at home during this period was too much of the calorie intake and then led her into the refeeding syndrome. Now, I don't know if I'm correct about this. It's just an assumption, which is why I haven't mentioned names and I won't say who exactly I'm talking about. But remember, if you go into the mountains, you're going to fast, make sure you start small. If you start big, these are the complications that you can have. Cheers.